match began, because there was like at some point where like I kind of memorized like the match into a T, where I kind of had an idea of what to do, but I kind of like forgot like my game plan and stuff again. So I'm probably just gonna study it a few so I can get refreshers. Plus, like I think I'm probably missing some things too that I can probably get some help with.
Right.
Let's see. So, nice.
Luckily, I'm pretty good against Falco. It's probably my best matchup. I'm talking to this guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. The beer man.
He just left. Yeah, so this is like I'm pretty proficient at this one. I feel as though I know what to do.
Yeah. So far, I think like I noticed just from casually watching the set that I went to the corner too much per se, and kind of just like didn't notice the fact that like he's always going for like a what we call it, fucking drifting like way over me, like as an approach, like overshooting and shit.
Right. Okay.
I was like not wise. I think I had like a good idea like right there, but I think I started like approach too much when I should have just like baited him to like do that approach, because he was like, because it clearly looks like in that situation he was like just trying to like just wall me out and stuff, so just like directly approaching, because they kind of knew that I was gonna try to like get after him and stuff. So I think like
Yeah, it looked like you did a Sheik autopilot thing where you just try to approach from the platform, and he wasn't really so much in that position. Where you're pretty much right in the sense that if you just waited for him to approach you, you would have been into a better spot because you could have shielded or something, or at least played more defense.
Yeah, in that situation, Falcos are kind of just like fishing to just like pair wall and stuff. Like when they can't hit you, they just like go for like the automatic defensive option.
Yeah, and that's what you actually want to take advantage of, because those are where he not only gives up space and doesn't like pressure you too much, but he usually opens himself up somewhere along those wallings.
Yeah, exactly. So I just gotta remember that's like from that standpoint, like Falcos either they're gonna like, you know, start approaching me and then maybe start playing more defensive, or they go to like the other side of the platform too to kind of like counteract to it and stuff. That's like
Yeah, which is actually that's totally cool if they back off. Like we don't need to approach them if they don't want to approach. Like we could chill. We don't have to like literally stand still, but we don't have to like, you know, like let them get some stupid like shield drop or free shine or something, or like overexpose.
Yeah, because like essentially you want neutral, and now it's like resetted back to like raw neutral again, which is kind of what you wanted anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely need to remember that.
It's definitely really easy to just like I find myself going to platform to jump in at people all the time when I'm like, all right, let me pay more attention. Especially against Falco, because you never really, because he has all these lasers and shit too. So you're trying to like avoid the lasers too. Sometimes instead of avoiding lasers, you want to just like wait for the approach and react with like a shield or something, or like a crouch cancel.
Yeah, I think I haven't really like understand that fundamentally like just yet. I think I kind of am a little bit, but I think versus Falco, I kind of like sometimes try to force like some damage onto just to like get to the next punish when like I'm in clear position to just like, you know, bait them and have them do a bad mistake that I can just punish. Like I'm too hasty on trying to acquire the punish.
Yeah, Sheik approaching like that, you need to be like really careful, obviously. Because like Sheik is pretty fucking awful at like genuinely approaching, like the way Falco could like dare in, or like the way Fox could dare in, like you really can't like do that because forward air has such a long startup time. Running F tilt kind of takes a while. You could do like wave dash in F tilts, but that has to be like when they're not lasering you either, because then they'll just laser down air you. So most of the time you actually do have to wait a lot versus Falco. But you also can't wait too much because then you get predictable and they grab you.
Yeah. I think like her offense, like her approach game isn't like that bad. I can see where you're coming from though, because like yeah, it can be fucking rough to like come in, but I feel like it's kind of like with a lot of characters. So I think even Spacey seem like it's kind of like rough when they try to approach it, especially just because of like there's a lot of defensive like characters and mechanics. So I'll definitely try to mix that up too more with like the instant nairs and running shields.
Yeah, I think okay. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was thinking is because it's honestly okay. So the run and shield is a good way to approach at like low percent because when they're doing those aerials that prevent you from approaching, you can kind of if they aerial at you when you're running in shielding, that ends up being an early aerial. So when they're doing things like those back airs in place, you can kind of get in their space with a shield and then grab them sometimes. Or if they're doing down airs, if you're deep in enough, you can get a grab. Or sometimes you can't get anything. Honestly, you just have to back off after.
So yeah, like running shield, because yeah, because like when you're running shield to like challenge their approach, then it makes them like think twice in terms of like what they're gonna do, and thus they're probably gonna stand back a little bit and kind of just like bait you to like get out of your shield or just some way to like beat you in like neutral, which I think you can just like counter with like a fight dashes out of shield or like
a whiff punish.
Yeah, or like
or a forward air.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Nair seems like it would trade there. I don't really like trading when you have advantage. I try not. Well, I don't know. I find myself getting these really fat nairs sometimes, and I always feel like I'm cheating the game.
Oh yeah, Nair's out shield is really fucking good. Like Nair, like trading with like Dare, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So like, I feel like if you want to do that run in Nair, you really have to know what you're hitting. You know, it's like a really risky thing. But I feel like I find myself doing it a lot, and I find myself successful at the same time, so I don't really like to not do it or say not to do it either.
I think the way you can do with like fair in there is like there if you want to do really fast, and you just go in there. If you want to like space out so you don't train as much, you can just go for like like approaching fair or whatever, just to get more range with fair.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I just always go for approaching there as like my aerial approach, and not so much like fair, because I just want to like rouse it out like really fast. And it's like a habit of instincts. I haven't really like thought about actually like approaching or like up to this.
I usually only use approaching fair when I'm certain that they're not gonna when they're being in place. So if they're like down airing in place, or like if they're being in place, that's usually when I like to forward air, or if they're like being pretty far away. Then I'll, if they're not approaching at all, sometimes I like to fair a wall as well to have something out. That also works against Fox because his drill doesn't have too much priority.
Yeah.
But that gets destroyed by approaching down air.
Yeah, the mind game's just like going from there.
Yeah, because then you could run and shield. Or at lower percents, it's important for Sheik to sometimes let him down air you and like get the grab after or something.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like the way I'm looking at this now, it's like Falco and Sheik. A lot of it is just like who's gonna go in, who's gonna bait someone to like go in and whatnot to get like out of shield or get like absolutely like bodied and stuff. So it's like kind of like this tug of war or whatever in the matchup, and like who can like win that, and then like also eventually just like put it in like enough pressure where like they at least expect it to just get absolutely like creamed. Because I think both characters kind of struggle a little bit when they're like in the corner or getting like pressured. Like Falco has some decent, I think, like out shield options, obviously with like shine out shield and shit, but like because but shine's like really small, like the hitbox from Falco, right? So it's like if I do like the low fair pressure with Sheik and mix in with like nairs too, I think I can like beat Falco's like out shield options if I like do it smart and stuff too. Of course, they also can wait that out shield like my fair pressure, but then I can just like realize through that and just go for like a forward tilt. So I want to remember that too.
You want to, in my experience, you want to try to force him into shield and almost like preemptively grab that shield. Like that's when you're really starting to get their habits down and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because that's when they're kind of scared and not really sure what they can do in the matchup. So that's actually like a good win condition to work through.
Yeah, exactly. That's like that's like where I'm trying to get them, but it's not always easy to get them to get their habits to come out. I think you and I play pretty similarly, so this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's funny because you play Trapper, right? He told me the same thing that you and I play hella similar.
Oh, dude, I thought that was the Shizwiz.
Really?
Yeah, and I was choking up a storm because I was like, oh my god, I'm about to beat the Shizwiz.
Wait, so they kind of play alike?
No, I don't even know if they do, but I thought that was like his Smurf, his Trap Lord, and I think I don't know if they play it alike, but I feel like I kept thinking that like I was like dealing with Shiz lasers, and like he kept lasering me, and then like he would do something, and I would get so confused.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Trap Lord's pretty hard to fight, like versus Sheik. He's pretty good in terms of just like playing defense. Like he has like a nice balance. I think he's like a pretty well balanced player. All things considered, that's what makes him really good. He's just like extremely solid.
Yeah, for sure. He seemed like an overall guy. So I want to ask, what do you really feel like, like you were getting hit on the most? Like what scenario do you feel like, oh my god, that shit was fucking annoying, you know?
That's a good question. Like versus him, I think like the thing I can remember the most is that sometimes I just get like randomly hit by like just him overshooting like maybe there there, or sometimes when like I'm like recovering near the ledge, he just like throws out a forward smash and just straight up kills me. Because I'm not used to anyone doing that whatsoever. That's like he's the first person that just like throws out raw forward smash when I'm like close to the ledge when I like double jump or whatever. Usually they try to go for like I think like a dare or some other option, but not like a forward smash.
Okay, I think I kind of see.
I think yeah, I think just like with this matchup, sorry to interrupt. I think it's like I think I'm just like right now. I think what's making me lose a lot is that I'm kind of just like just getting hit by like just getting conditioned to kind of like either approach too much or just like have them like cross me up and kind of just like go all over my shoulder. Yeah, like there we go, something like that. Wait, just
There's two things that I noticed, in particular, and that's you're also not approaching enough in the sense that he like dash dances for free when Falco's a pretty slow character. Like you should be dash attacking that on reaction, with the right practice, of course. Like 9 times out of 10. Like there's a few situations there where he was just dashing around, where it's like you should really be able to like dash attack that or boost grab that. And then even if you lose that scenario, if he does something, you have that information, so you could just punish him next time. So it looked like you were a little bit afraid to fully commit. And then the other side of it is, because this is like the two sides of this, is that because the part where you were getting approached was because you were jumping a little bit too much and you weren't playing more like authentic neutral where it's just like, all right, he's attacking, let me just shield, and then deal with the pressure afterwards. You were definitely doing things a little bit autopilot-y, which is pretty easy to do versus Falco because he's got all these lasers out and different kinds of styles he could play, so it's pretty, I kind of understand why. But generally speaking, that's how you want to do it. You want to like pay attention to when they're approaching, mostly trying to shield their aerials, the normal rock paper scissors thing, as well as when you want to be very quick with your dash attack. So if you're already dashing forward and they start a laser, you want to dash attack, because while they're coming up for that laser jump, you should be able to dash attack or grab them, or if they do like a low laser, you could forward air them.
So usually, like, if you're approaching them while they're dash dancing, if they, like, respond by, like, lasers, there's, like, a 50-50 where you can just dash attack if they, laser, like, high laser, and if they low laser, just, like, approaching fair, basically.
I'd honestly call it more of, like, a fucking 70% 30 mix-up, because when you're dashing forward, even the lower laser, they still have to do a jump for. So depending on their position, you could hit them before they even get a laser out.
Yeah.
The only mix-up is if they do like a super perfect pivot downer, but they really have to be looking for that, and that's like a pretty particular defensive technique, and you could obviously mix in with the shield, and they give up a lot of stage doing that. So you can see how moving forward as well as watching when they're approaching is really important in this matchup.
Like, it's really hard for Falco just to react to dash attacking and approaching, like, in that situation, or just, like, dash dancing.
Yeah, Definitely, pretty simply put, yeah.
Fair. Yeah, I sometimes notice when I'm playing pretty well versus Falco, I tend to like do more like just do like more grabs and dash attacks. Like I'm very confident, like okay, I can get this because this player is like not really like respond to it whatsoever. Yeah.
You wanna do you wanna back up the last stock?
Yeah.
So we could, because I got a couple examples on what I was showing you before.
Is this good enough?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good at not running into too much stuff in the corner.
I just wonder how I can get out of the exact like how I get out of that situation. I'm actually curious.
He's also like not really approaching at all.
Yeah, he's not really giving me anything. He's just
Which you were
now
doing pretty good at dealing with, but it looks like eventually you try to approach when he's still not approaching. Yeah, like there, you shouldn't even, there's no point in even really being on the platform there, because if he's up there, if you just shield, he can't really do anything. Like, you don't want to chase him up there, because that's what they're looking for. You want to stay on the floor, because then they can't get any hits on you, because you could shield at any moment and run around. Go into platforms.
so like ideally speaking, like how do you like condition them to go on like just platforms just by like like just like trending just enough, or they start to like use platforms as a sort of like trending option to like hit you and stuff.
So when you start to beat them in neutral, you start hitting grabs and stuff like that. You start reading them. Like let's say you run up on somebody and you try to grab them or something. Usually they start to jump. So like you don't actually have to do that grab, but they'll jump anyway. You'll notice. So I don't like to when they go up there. I'm like, all right, bro, like I'm out of here. Like I personally don't like dealing with people on platforms because I feel like it's not consistent enough. Like it just feels like we're two people looking for pokes, and that just feels like we're two people praying to win.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it, though.
Okay. So basically, he's just like fishing for me just to eventually approach where he can just like reactively like hit me.
Yeah, and give up a jump or something, and then he could shine you.
Okay, I see.
Whereas if you're on the floor, you could he's gonna try to nair your shield, and then you could up tilt him, and then you could wave dash back, grab when he lands on the floor. Because especially Falco, Fox is harder to deal with in that spot, but Falco doesn't have the mobility to really initiate pressure from above as well as Fox. Even though you should be able to punish Fox there too. Falco is really vulnerable when he's playing like that because he's trying to cheese you essentially. He's not really trying to play the character matchup. He's just trying to get you to give something up specific like a jump or like a forward air or something because down air is just going to prioritize all of Sheik's shit. Or he'll laser you from the sky. Yeah. They've been doing that a lot recently. I don't know if you noticed jump lasers.
Basically, like jump lasers, just in general, like they jump and then they like lasers they go down.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't like realize they were like trying to implement that.
Yeah, Bones has been doing like these campy platform down air lasers and stuff. You'll see when you play him next.
So he would like jump there and then go on platform and then like go down with like a laser.
He would like. He would obviously mix it up, but he would do these really weird dares that were technically safe on shield from the platform, and then like he would laser sometimes too. The Shizwiz does it too, but he does it kind of cooler.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, even Chops kind of does it now, but he does it pretty aggressively. He only does it when other people are camping or playing defensively, I guess.
Oh, I see. So then he like dares on platform, and then he just makes it into laser right afterwards, or he just like.
Sometimes instead of the dare, he'll like laser. So like it'll be like, hang on, there should be some footage I could actually show you what I mean.
Okay.
Alright, I got some footage right here. I'm gonna send it to you on Discord. I can't really. I guess I'll put it in Melee Online General.
Okay. I'll check that right now.
And then go to 820.
Okay. 20.
It's actually more like 816. So you'll see green Falco from the platform on the right side.
Okay, so 820. Okay, 826.
No, 816. 816. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Falcos are doing a lot of these kinds of lasers.
Oh, okay, so they just go down, drop down with a laser, like a run-on laser.
Yeah, and then even the green Falco, I think he does like a downer next time. Or, well, he did a laser that time, but it's like stuff like that Falcos are doing a lot of nowadays, trying to poke you. They're doing it against Sheik too. Like they're doing it everywhere. My thing is I like to try to run around a lot and shield them. Pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is there any way I can just like run up and then like shark like up air or whatever the option?
Yeah, so that's the idea, right? Is you want to get under them and start fucking up tilting, right? That's what you want. That's what I want too. That's what we all want. And you can sometimes. It's just very rare that it ever works because usually whatever move they do beats it. I find that you can get those hits, but like I find them really hard to rely on.
So what you could do is maybe like, okay, so if you like just shield the laser like straight up and then like it should lasers don't do that much like shield like stuff, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically speaking, then when you shield and they do that, then they start like doing their pressure, and that's kind of what they want. So I guess the best.
Because Falco's down air beats our moves from above. I'm pretty sure. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't, but you know it's like weird depending on the time you put it out. But most of the time Falco beats you, and he beats your up air too.
I see. So could you able to take laser and then just like dash back grab or whatever in that situation?
If you I usually stand towards the middle of the stage, so like, or like barely under the opposite platform, so I'm more towards the middle, but barely off to the side. So like, let's see, am I able to like point towards things on this shit? Let's see, how does this work?
Like the buttons like doing stuff like with the mouse.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so yeah, basically, so they have like a down air range. So like if they wave dash off the platform or whatever, they can't get you if you're outside of that range. So even if they laser you, it's okay if you take a laser. But I try to keep into account like where he could jump after the laser. So it's like, yeah, you know, if you back off, if he's definitely gonna down air after, do like an overshoot down air, then yeah, you could probably like shield and grab him, right? But he might not always be doing that.
I see. So basically with that situation with like a...
Oh, I'll simplify it. You want to back off enough to where you don't give up too much stage.
And then just react to it, yeah.
And then make them go on the ground so you could play the real neutral that we were talking about before with like the shielding and the overshooting.
Okay, alright, that makes sense.
Yeah, because we don't want to fuck with them on platforms, not very often. Unless you want to go for like a trade or something.
And like the point to do is even if they kind of like, even if they don't get anything out of it initially, it's just to like force like neutral reset where they believe this would be more to their advantage.
Yeah, and then they might go back up there, but that's okay. Because what goes up must come down.
Yeah, definitely. Try to separate neuters.
I actually find that style really like repulsive. I hate it. Just get off the platforms, bro. Come and fight me.
It does seem like it's really weird, champ. I would say it's dishonest, but I think it's kind of dumb because it's kind of arbitrary what's honest and what's dishonest. I mean, it is kind of like chump checking you to know, and I believe chump checks are some sort of like honesty because it's like forcing you to kind of like not
Learn the whole game.
Like no, like to execute better and to like not just like win easily or execution. Like it kind of just like pushes you to like make like better decisions and executions in situations where you like beat them out and eventually kind of force it to maybe mix that up more. I mean, it's just like the implementation. I think is like what's more important. The way they're doing it is not like if they try to like implement it just for like the desperation and like that's kind of problematic.
Yeah, the problem is when certain people only have that style and they get figured out and they're like, then they get upset. Like I said, I don't have. It's definitely a pretty popular way of playing nowadays, so I don't blame people if they get their W's. But I see it as pretty vulnerable and not particularly authentic rock paper scissors neutral. Which is good because that means you could exploit it in the long run once you figure it out.
I think it's more just they don't really develop a nuance enough like gameplay. Like they have the gameplay in motion from a basic standpoint, but don't really have like a full on. I think the reason why people camp like Sheik's really hard nowadays is because they were once really bad at the matchup and they figured that if I do this really simple game plan, that should be okay. But like they are like fundamentally like bad at the matchup because they're still scared of like getting like grabs and like and just not really challenging Sheik fully and thinking that you can just like destroy Sheik. Because like when I was playing against you earlier on this session, I was playing kind of campy because I didn't want to get grabbed, and I was playing kind of like a shitty game plan.
I thought I was playing campy.
I thought I was playing more campier than you by far, but I think near the end of our session, I just became a lot more comfortable in like the matchup, and I was just camping a lot less, and just like actually playing the matchup where I'm actually like exploiting Sheik's like weaknesses while also like putting like my own neutral. Like either way, like it wasn't just some like I'm gonna do this hasty game plan and it's just gonna work maybe on like one level, but then like eventually it gets destroyed in the next level kind of thing.
Alright. I felt like for the most part I was getting really fucked up, and then I got kind of comfortable towards the end.
Yeah, I think I got too comfortable. I think I lost all my momentum once we had that last break or so. I think you can't. Yeah, that's like a huge tendency sometimes for me. I get slightly too comfortable like in that matchup, like the Sheik Ditto. Once you like, win enough games, because that matchup is like with chain grabs is fucking weird. Because it's either one person dominates the other, and then it becomes kind of easy to kind of like be in that momentum. But it's like because that like Ditto is obviously hella fucking volatile. And you just kind of just get like destroyed if you kind of just get too like comfortable, which is kind of just something I just gotta like be more cognizant of, like especially near like our level, because like every Sheik in our level just spams chain grabs. It's so
yeah, it's not like how it once was.
Yeah, I think that match is just gonna be like momentum management more than anything.
Yeah, that matchup's fucking annoying, bro.
I just wish Sheik mates just realize how fucking stupid chain grabbing is. It's literally like, it's not even. It's like who can just like, I'm not gonna say cheese, but like who's just like can get setups much more than who like outplays each other in the neutral. Like it just becomes like a single player game where you just like do the cheesy strats against like the final boss and whatnot, and just like beat them, and you're not on point. The final boss just like fucking wrecks you, Like
when I was a kid, people used to ask if we could chain grab them.
Yeah, and now motherfuckers being like we're chain grabbing no matter what. Like, it's kind of whack. Especially, yeah.
It's classic, bro. I mean, now it's classic. It's the new classic.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I only started playing again like a year, maybe two now ago, and like I just noticed as soon as I came back, nobody asks.
Yeah, it's just fucking all do it. Foxy Grandpa does it. Well, they didn't ask me. They just does it. Spark, fucking, I'm pretty sure Crudo does that shit too. I'm not sure, but like almost all the Sheiks I play, they definitely do it unless they're like low level where they just don't give a fuck,
Yeah, he wasn't chain grabbing for a while, Crudo, but he started chain grabbing because we were all chain grabbing. Because I started
Yeah.
chain grabbing because everyone else was chain grabbing.
And then now I'm forced to chain because everyone else is chain grabbing. What a vicious cycle.
Vicious indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, this game I did a lot better. I didn't think I 3-stocked it because I just like did the face roll stab versus Mega that he did, where you just like wave dash like back near the ledge just to like evade almost everything he does in neutral, and then just gets like a big meaty punish off of it and stuff. I also got some like cheesy gimps that like kind of worked out for me, but same goes.
That's all she has, bro. She does. I mean, she's a good character, but if you don't hit your gimps, you're worthless.
To be fair, like it's the same case for like so many characters. Like in the top tiers, if your gimps are not on point, you just get fucked and punished too, obviously. But
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just like playing a lot more reserves, kind of just like not really like approaching them. Kind of just like the gameplay I should have just played like to begin with, like just set and winners too. Because winners I just like just played no neutral whatsoever. But yeah, go. Yeah, but right now with like my game plan versus Falco, I'm like trying to play like Ben or whatever, because when I see Ben versus Trapler play, like the one thing I noticed from Ben is that his like out shield game is like insane, where you don't really know if he's gonna go for a high or low option, and he always kind of just second guesses. He forces like Falcons to second guess themselves. So I just started doing more of that, and it started to beat Trapler pretty hard, like as a result of just doing that kind of game plan and stuff. But I think it kind of like figured me out a little bit, but I think I'm starting to like, I think like watching this right now is like helping at least a little bit, like realizing some things for sure. Oh yeah, I forgot me for sure.
Nope.
Started to shoot more and just like start counteracting with Nair's out, like with Nair out shielding and whatnot, and kind of just like intruding on the space like overall, where he doesn't really have like the space and liberty to just like start spamming like its bears too. So I think I just remember that as well, because that's with like spacing and whatnot too. I should like make him feel like he has to like either go for like some sort of like standing laser baits or just like a bare wall. Yeah, that was a little cheesy, but I got it. Yeah, that was.
This dude will go all the way around the world to try to hit you.
I know he did like the one option I definitely did not expect him was to like roll like that. I wonder if like how I could like just react in that situation. Maybe just like react to it like shield drop if he tries to like go to the very edge, react to it like shield drop there, and then if he like goes back, then I can just like shield drop and then go for like an approach or some shit like that. Maybe. He also did that a lot too. He would always like double laser, and then if he wasn't double lasering, he'd just go for like a ledge hop there or whatever. But he did like the double lasers where they were like really low that I couldn't really do anything. So I should have like remembered to just like shield there. Like if he does like the low like double laser, then I can just air out shield it, and then the high ones he can just obviously like bounce on. So yeah. Like when you were talking about like now it like makes sense why I like did so much better like as a hero. I just thought like was like super like more like just defensive and whatnot. Although I still feel like I wasn't really paying attention quite to like I remember thinking in this game or so. I killed before. I wonder how I could have done better. That that was what I was talking about, because he just did like a raw nair approach.
Yeah, that's kind of like what we were talking about before. So that's fine to get out of there. And then yeah, you see, the real issue there was he was just being a fucking troll, and he fucking goes all the way across with his back air, and then he goes all the way the other way with the nair. Basically, like it's like, you know, what you want to do with guys like this who refuse to grab you is you want to like grab test them. That's what I call it. It's like, all right, motherfucker, you're either gonna grab me or you're not getting shit. And I'm totally cool if they do grab me, because I'm down to spot dodge, bro, or a nair or something, or like, and Falco has to run all the way forward before he grabs you, and it's really slow. You could roll, you could nair, you could F tilt them. Like, there's a bunch of things you could do while he tries to grab you. This isn't also like, so many Falcos like to do that. The main thing is it's just like grab test. Like, just make sure they're not grabbing, and then if they're not grabbing, then I could shield for free, and I could eventually get some grabs myself, and I could force some grabs, some tilts, stuff like that.
So like you shield, and then test whether they're gonna go for a grab, and if they actually try to like approach you, you can just do like a like without shield back, like 4 tilts, and then they like resort to like
F tilt destroys nair. Down air is kind of loose. Down air is kind of hard to beat with F tilt. It's better to try to shield grab that. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Because also, one of the ways that they may deal with you shielding is they might try to nair at you, which is actually a lot slower than it looks. Which, this is all going to take reaction, because if you're shielding too often and too linearly, then you're going to look like a person like who's just shielding in place. But if you shield in reaction to them throwing an aerial at you when they jump, then you can actually decide what to do. Whether if they nair at you, you could F tilt, or if they down air at you, you could shield. You'll see it because you have so much time when they nair. And down air is a lot quicker, but you'll still know what to do after some practice.
So you can just like reactively like dash back too, alongside like shielding and stuff, or like reactively like dashing back. You should have enough time.
Yeah, that, you know, it obviously depends where they're throwing out their aerial, but wave dash back is definitely something you want to mix in there. But I recommend using that one the least, because you're giving up a lot of stage and stuff like that. It's definitely the scariest one to use, in my opinion. It's the one that I get. It's my last resort. It's like, all right, I got to do something. Especially as your shield gets smaller.
So like wave dash back, like okay, yeah, that's like realistic. Okay, I see.
Yeah. Plus, if you wave dash back, oftentimes they get like a late aerial, which is safe anyway.
Okay, I see. And dash back would be a lot better and stuff.
I actually don't like dashing back unless, well, I do dash back, but like, I don't really see what's good. Like, I don't really get much out of it. Usually I feel like they're just gonna laser me or down air me or something, or overshoot me. I feel like dashing back, I don't really see much benefit in, unless you know that they're gonna aerial in. You could, like, you know, if you know they're gonna do something, then yeah, I guess you could outplace their move. But you have to really know what to do with dash back. I don't. Again, I see it the same way. You give up stage. It's kind of like you don't really get much done. You know what I mean? Like, look at that. You see, that's a great example right there. You just let him choke you down, and then even if you kept shielding there, he could have like shine grabbed you. Whereas if you stay in place, you try to hold your position a little bit more, they're going to be forced to make a move on you, in which case it's easier to get them to do an early aerial for a grab, or you could F tilt and before they even get something out or whatever. You know, I see giving up stage as a sin.
I see. So basically, it was just better if I just like stayed in place and not just like move around to the stage position. That's how it's also going to be a lot, was that I would just give a stage position too often, and he just like was able to go like a lot more college. So basically, kind of just like linear like positions and roles, basically.
Right, and then those positions that you're talking about getting out of the corner, you won't have to worry about as much because you won't be in the corner. Fuck getting out of the corner, just don't get in the corner.
Okay, yeah, so I see. Yeah, so I basically was just like, because like I was playing really corner heavy just so like, because he was like getting kind of fucked up by it. But so basically, maybe I should like,
That's a short-term solution though, usually.
right. What I was thinking is that maybe I could play a neutral game where I still maintain like center stage and kind of just like stand around in place, like make like a neutral interaction where I'm just like standing around in place, and then maybe mix it like going all the way out, because like from there like Falcos, if I had to like reach for the sky to like approach, of course they can just like laser, right? And then like you can kind of just like play around platforms like evade lasers or just like throw needles at them too. It's just like when it's like doing too much, that's like a problem. So I think I just had to do that game too, so that it kind of just like makes it like kind of trickier what I want to do versus Falco. I think I just like overly relied on like, I guess in that position, I guess too much, or just like
The
gave
classics.
up too easily. Yeah, so it's just remembering that's like when you want to pick your your spots. I kind of just like did it too early without like, it was like I just gave it up without fighting for it. So I just gotta remember that's what Falcons are trying to do.
Yeah, you're not holding the pressure, you're kind of just letting go.
Okay.
This also is also like a really hard way to play because you're reacting to aerials with shield. You're also trying to hold the space yourself, and you're not trying to do nothing. So you're also trying to use your moves. Sometimes you're trying to wait for their aerials and go for whiff punishes. So it's really it's actually a lot harder to play that way without giving up space for free and things like that. But it's a very beneficial style in the long run. Though at first it could be pretty frustrating because you keep noticing all your bad habits.
Yeah, because they just notice they just go for the same kind of like platform habits, like those comfort zones, and that's how you kind of just get like fucked and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. I've been working on this stuff a lot recently, particularly more thinking and stuff.
On that flip side too, if you do it too early, sometimes maybe that can maybe work to mix in, because they're gonna start like maybe throwing out like a bad option. I think what I was doing, I wasn't doing it too much. I wasn't mixing it like.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm not. I'm currently in the process of merging these styles because you obviously you can't never dash back and you can't never wave dash back. That doesn't make any sense. But I'm trying to do it at the right times, depending on what they're doing and where they are, which is really fucking challenging recently.
Yeah.
Which is why I really haven't cared to enter tournaments recently, because I feel like getting this down is more important.
Yeah. Like, yeah, cause like, yeah, cause like I think what I'm noticing, just like the biggest thing I would have said before, it's like I'm not really, it's like I don't really know how to like mix up per se, and like knowing like time, like it's like you slowly start seeing like those ideas come to fruition, but it's like still kind of like resorting to the same kind of mix up without like challenging the Falco to like not challenging the Falco to kind of like force it down to my next level of like adaptation. Like there's still a lot of like small situations and game plans that I'm still having like that level 1 game plan. Like there's some level 2s in there finally, but there's still like like level 1s that need to be like looked on and stuff. I just got a way of destroying people just because I have an epic punish game that carried me for a very long time.
Hey, you sound like me, bro.
And we really are like.
Hey. Yeah, and like, yeah, pretty much like, everyone's a lot better nowadays and stuff like that. And then, oh man, this is one that I just crafted up in my head again recently that I haven't used in a long time that I used to do. Is if they're gonna overshoot you, you turn around shield, so you just grab them when they pass you. That's my favorite.
So if they do like an overshoot, you just like, okay, so you turn around shield.
Right, so they're ending up behind you, quote unquote, but now they're in front of you, and you grab them. That's really good against foxes drill, because foxes love to drill in such a way that they pass through your shield.
Oh, I see. So then how do you do like the turnaround shield? Like you just know beforehand, and then
You
just,
can,
like...
yeah, you kind of have to know, like if they've been like if because a lot of the times you're trying to hold that pressure by putting up your shield in like the middle of the stage, and you're noticing, well, I'm not getting shit off of this because they keep just flying past me with all their moves. So that's when you're like, all right, well, I got to turn around now.
Okay.
I completely forgot about that until recently. I used to do that on chops all the time.
That's crazy. You guys are like cousins. Because my cousin, when I tried to play melee with him, like when I was first starting out, he just proves a fucking hate that game with passion. Now, like absolutely hates him now. That's right. Like Sheik versus his dog, but you know.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
My brother is just like that, except he played Falco.
It's actually funnier.
Yeah, it is.
Right, because the dog fox is super okay, and the game was balanced as fuck and whatnot. And just like.
That's what my brother said. And they were just being bitches.
Yeah.
Don't hate the game, hate yourself, bro.
Oh yeah, because my cousin's like really prideful and kind of stubborn. He's like, he only really enjoys something if he's like good at it. If he's sort of mean, he just absolutely hates it. So no matter how good it is, he's sort of just like fucking stuff.
Yeah, I've dealt with a lot of people like that, including my own brother. I hate that personally. I can't deal with that anymore as I got older. I'm just like, I either tell him to quit bitching or I leave. It's like, yo, grow up, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Or we'll play a game you're good at, because you're being fucking annoying.
Well, for some people, like it's just like, because like how culture is, like if you're not good at something, they just like shit on you and stuff. So it's like for people, it's like if you're bad at something, they kind of just like, you know, they have a hard time like going through that just because like people are just like preaching about. So it's just like I guess kind of like a trigger.
A shame thing, yeah. I don't know. Over the years, I've gotten like much more comfortable at like sucking at things. So it's like, I don't know. It's something that I got over, and I'm a pretty prideful guy. So I figure if I could do it, other people could do it.
Yeah, I'm still kind of in that stage of doing that because like I kind of was like treated like shit when I was bad at things growing up. I'm not gonna go too personal. Let's just say things were not great for me. But anyways, yeah, I'm definitely just trying to like remember that people are not judgmental, like at how you're skilling. And people are like in these match games, just like the gyms, they don't even matter. Like the real ones know that like you're good. And if you play like other games, it's like you know if you're bad, they're not gonna like put you down. Like Koyashi kind of like just talked to me about this quite often, not to a trip about like your skill level, who's better than you know, something about other.
That's what I told him too, because he's always tripping about that.
Yeah.
He's actually the master of tripping about that. But no, I'm glad he told you that though, because that's it's always good to, you know, a lot of the times people know these things, but they need to talk to people about it every now and then. Just a friendly reminder from their friendly friends, which is always helpful. It's just like, yo, bro, fuck these people, man. Don't worry about what they're saying. Just keep grinding. You'll be good. Ranks are pointless. Yada yada yada.
This is like that biz grab was like selling kind of like cost me, because I kind of lost more momentum. I tried to regain it back, but I think this is when I started to like play more hasty. I think this is what like
The momentum sweep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just mathematics like a like one game to me, but whatever. It's just being said, like just gotta you know remember in the situation that's okay. Like what should we call it? I hate how you can't also tech that. Just like what should we call it? Like
On Yoshi's?
yeah, like Omnitech, I think that particular like clip.
Ha! That's interesting. I hate Omnitech, and I'm glad that's the case. They ruined the Punish game, bro. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
It's sometimes fun to like hit someone after they Omnitech and feels like you work hard for it, but it can be kind of dumb. I played against Spot Bob or whatever fucking Bobby's like brother at this point still hates. And he also takes my down smash game 5 like for like I almost got the kill like for the last stock or whatever. He also takes it, and then he managed to like get back to like ledge, and then does like a perfect like ledge dash up smash and like I was like trying to space like yeah he just like yeah, cause he like also text or whatever, and then like he flew out because it was like really high percent, and he just instantly like side east to ledge, and I'm trying to like needle him, and then sadly I didn't realize he was gonna go for a fucking ledge dash up smash because it was all within range and stuff. Like I fucking hate shit like that where that one particular mistake on like that was
yeah, that's a Sheik thing. You make that one mistake, you get fucked. You don't really get a cover.
yeah, I hate how he like DI'd that perfectly to like not get up smashed.
Oh, you should have grabbed him. Always grab him. Always grab.
In what situation?
I was kind of kidding, but there you could have grabbed him there, I guess, but that's obvious.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't go for barrel shot. He just proceeded to like way dash like out. I wonder if he was like waiting for me to like wait for it, like just like. Oh wait, I think I realized. I think I was waiting for him to like bear out his shield so that I can air out of it. That's why he did the other option, which he just reset it neutral, so now I'm like stuck with my shield base. I'm like, oh shit, I just realized. I wish my brain was, you know, not dumb and noticed that, like, in game and not in the bot. Yeah, see, like right there.
Oh yeah, well it's very rare that people do that.
Yeah. I think I should have turned it out, but I guess I didn't expect it. But I did this like 2 months ago, so that like.
Oh.
Yeah, I definitely vanished too much of that spot. Yeah, and he had like a Fox too. He's like a dual main, which I am not used to at all with dual mains anymore. Dude, when I first started playing Melee, it was like the big thing to dual main and stuff, like 2015 and stuff.
Yeah, it really was.
You must have been from that 2015 crowd still.
Yeah, just about. You know, maybe a bit older, I guess. But just about the 2014, 2015. I was at Apex 2015.
Oh, like around the documentary and stuff, like where Mingo was like dominating. It was like fucking pieces, like both worlds. He was like so good at able to play both characters comfortably. I mean, besides the fact that Fox is kind of like a lot easier to play once you get really like be a fucking Fox because his ideas are like super fucking simple and you just like operate and stuff.
Yeah, Fox is just a much easier character in general.
Fox is actually not the hardest character in the game. Because like
Yeah, Fox is fucking easy as hell in my opinion. You can do whatever you want.
it's a lot easier just to like have a secondary compared to most characters, that's for sure.
Yeah, this guy tried to side B you.
Yeah, he did a lot of deadlift side Bs. I wasn't really prepared for it, sadly. I'm still trying to get used to like reacting.
It's a good dash attack.
Feels better. Oh, okay. At least I got the grab, but I should just like grab this in there just because of like knowledge.
This is tough because you gotta finish the stock. You go for dash attack.
It should have down smashed.
Yeah.
He's
gonna tech it.
Like,
No tech. Okay.
yeah. Because like if I down smash there, then he's not gonna. Because like if he tries to like DI out, then he's gonna be in a really bad spot. Usually like just DI out for like a dash attack.
Now you're on the platform. Alright, that's pretty good. Pretty good. I love a good grab, mate. Big fan of grabs.
Speed is fucking broken, man. It's so much easier to like tech chase like boss beat. Although I'm already like pretty sufficient at like tech chasing like with visuals, but like boss beat is like fucking oh my god, it's a lot easier to like actually react.
Is that an audio?
Yeah, it's audio back in, so it like reduces its down latency significantly, so it's like almost similar to CRT, so it's easy to actually react to like proper side Bs and shit and whatnot. and like yeah, like Umar would like, because like Umar has been trying to like do that with philosophy, and I realized like this might be pretty good, so I've been doing it, and it's like really fucking good in terms of like
My only problem with Wasapi is that it kills your audio for everything else.
it does. Usually when you're playing tournaments, that's really do anything else, so it's really good for tournaments. Streaming it sucks though. I don't even know what to do in that situation, so I'm trying to figure that out. Because I'm trying to play with like Stouts React to like make us better with like reactions and ones, but I kind of just had to realize that usually like I think the best way I for my stream plan of attack is just like kind of just like play like unranked or whatever if you're just like more casual and not just like philosophy and just like music on and then like the only problem is with that too is that since like DMCs are downloading and whatnot, fucking it's just like really hard to just actually license business.
Everyone seems to be doing it anyway, I noticed.
Yeah, I should just fucking do it and not worry about the DMC. I just think I'm being super dumb with SJ and fucking a club too, yeah, because both of their shit got DMCA or whatever.
Yeah. Damn, they're pretty big though. Yeah. Side B's.
Like, yeah, because it was like kind of even-ish, like the first 6 stocks, and then he just started running away with it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you have reaction time versus Fox McCloud.
I have good reactions too. I don't know why I'm just like reacting to it. I think it's just because I'm just not like, because I'm just, I don't think I just never really played neutral with like reactions at all. I'm just always like, it's so gotta like, you know.
You had to pay more attention. Yeah, that's definitely what I've been trying to do. Because when you're paying really close attention, you're like being more like moment to moment with the players' moves.
Yeah,
and
it's like moment to moment interactions.
Yeah, instead of binary rock paper scissors. Yeah, a lot of the same things apply to Fox as well. It's just harder to do versus Fox, like the shielding when he's above you and reacting to his approaches because he's so fucking fast. Like, yeah. This is another one of my, I'm pretty much a spaciest guy.
I was like watching some videos earlier today with some fiction games, and he actually did a pretty well. I was actually really surprised. I mean, you would be the one doing it because it was like God versus Sheik. I don't think he's that super good at the matchup for like that like played up just because that like super good. Just like make it visible, like smash that he does for me, but he's like not that bad honestly. I think like my subfiction was actually it's just like I think I kind of just like choked him a bit too much.
I don't think fiction is really the biggest threat in the world. He's really highly ranked, but I noticed whenever Chops and I would do good against him in friendlies, he would quit out and make an excuse, like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. It's like, alright, bro, at least when I go to the bathroom, I always come back.
Yeah.
It's like, what kind of shit is that? You're like in your house, aren't you? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's most people are more fraudulent than they want to let on. Like, if you're playing like really hot one day and like you come in contact with like a ranked player, they might just quit out.
Yeah, like top players are just fucking like toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
I'd be guilty of this as well. Where like whenever you just like lose, they just like react really poorly and kind of just like denounce you as a person, and it just becomes just like shit. It's like
yeah, he started saying things like beer man's a camper, even though he's notoriously not a camper. He started saying things like fucking like he's just like playing stupid. Oh, that's not gonna work or whatever. And then, even though the spot dodges are working perfectly fine.
like what I noticed like with this guy, like how he started running away from it. He was just like constantly like trading more, and I was just like in the corner, like
Yeah,
just I
you're.
was just thinking too much in the corner and just like getting blitzed by like just everything. Like it was just willing to just get just like straight hits, just damage.
Yeah, honestly, it looks like you're out of it. You're just throwing all of your cards out on the table and getting fucked for it.
Yeah, I kind of was giving up to set. I kind of just like, just, I was kind of having a bit of a breakdown at this point. So I was just like, I wanted to give up. I was like, I guess I just gotta keep playing it and stuff.
Yeah, you can see that with like that wall jump back air. It's like this guy's not even trying to hit him anymore. It's all good.
I usually do that mixed up though sometimes. I usually use it's like, I was just like, I wasn't even like playing neutral versus him at this point. I was just like coming in this one, so like I just see, oh, he's near me, so I'm just gonna sit down, just like go for it. So I not realize that he's just like always go for this kind of like approaches. So I could just maybe turn around, like show like shows, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I'd say you have the same problem in both these matchups. Pretty much you weren't reacting to what they were doing properly. You get caught out of the air a lot. You give up stage sometimes. Pretty simple things to fix, in my opinion. I think you should be pretty much good to go from here. I don't think there's anything else really to talk about.
Everything else, what's up?
I was gonna say, I don't remember what I was gonna say actually. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, because you're saying about how like you just had to like react more to what species are doing, and then like not just give them stage position to play otherwise. That's really good.
Right. Yeah. And doing so, what you'll notice is, in my opinion, um, in my experience playing the many players of the world, is that they're not the most aware of these factors that go into the game, like the stage control, the reactions, and obviously not all of them, but a lot of them, like honestly most of them that you run into, like they're not fully reacting, they're not fully holding stage as hard as they can. Obviously everyone plays a different style, so some people don't play like that because that's just not how they play. But for the most part, in my opinion, with this kind of way of playing, you could kind of prey on the people who don't play that way and notice the people who are unconscious about those aspects of the game. You could begin to pull away from most sets, well, most people with the W, whereas they're just going to be pissed off. Like, they don't realize they're giving up stage at the little moments. They don't realize they're not reacting to everything perfectly. So normally you could probably get the leg up on most people.
So it's just like remembering, like it's like just things where they remember, let's say, just give stage positioning, and you can kind of just like, pretty hard to overreact to it. Yeah, that makes sense because like sometimes when I'm playing against you or other people, like especially peaches lately, so I notice like they don't really react to me just coming in for a grab or whatever. They kind of just like sit there and I can just get like an easy grab versus like Blue's Clues and like Anchovy, like the other peaches and whatnot. So, yeah, that kind of like just makes sense. That's like usually kind of just I get a lot of dash attacks too. So if you're not reacting to me dash attacking them, they just kind of just sit there because they're not really like reacting to me, just like doing it because they didn't expect it. So it's just kind of like that too. It's just I think it's like a really hard skill to do, but I think it's pretty easy just to implement. It's just like just being more cognizant of like, just reacting to particular like situations and stuff.
Because you actually have to like fully be in the game for that shit. Like, fucking like you have to be like aware of like the things that they're. It's like you have to be like aware of it without like overthinking it, which is what makes it really tough.
Definitely. It is kind of like just tough to like remember like that kind of things in the moments, like because you kind of just get away with like doing like simple things for a while, and then like you kind of just like forget about like reactions to like points and like like knowing what exact situations that like you should just like react to, because you're just doing reads just to like supplement your reaction time. That's what I kind of realized was
Like filling space, right? Like with like random shit or whatever that looks pretty good and technical. Oh, you follow XCal? That's my fucking guy since 2005 or some shit. I don't even remember. 2008 actually, more like it.
I mean, I was a huge COD fan. I actually was pretty proactive in COD, like high school and stuff, and then like lost interest in the game because I grew up, and then I just really afterwards. Like I wasn't particularly great at COD. I think like my best KD like was the last COD game I accidentally played, which was like a 75 KD. And,
yeah.
Like, obviously, I don't think it's particularly great, but like whatever. But so.
I was a godlike pub stomper, 3 KD baby.
Yeah. Y'all are fucking gods or whatever. Plays fucking like incredibly is also probably like in other games too, so I'm like the outlier where I'm like really good at this one game, and like the other games I think kind of not nearly as like good as the 3KD just chasing.
I'm surprised. I expect you to be like mad good at other things just because you play like a very clean, like you play like, I like your Sheik. I don't really like many people's Sheik.
Thank you. Well, I'm good at like retro games. I mean some really, really hard games. I think shooters I definitely have. I think just because I don't know, I have like a hard time like paying attention and knowing the exact situations anymore. I don't know if it's just some ADHD shit, some autism shit, or some fucking executive dysfunction. I don't know, but like I'm not really sure like what's, because I feel like I just lose a lot of like micro situations. And, like, at least the last time I was like playing that and stuff.
Call of Duty. At least the last time I don't know. I just kind of run in and fucking shoot people. I don't think too much when I play Call of Duty. It's because everyone, you know, when you're playing in public matches with the general populace, everyone sucks ass anyway.
It's probably just because you just have like amazing like just aim and just like some like awareness of the situation. Like
Yeah, I definitely watched some YouTube videos. So, you know, I saw what other people did, the way that they head glitched and shit like that, and then like I played all the time, and like I was the like I used to be like a big, I don't know, I think everyone's kind of a rager when they're young, right? So like I was like a big rager, but I wasn't like a quitter kind of rager because fuck that, bro, I'm gonna beat these kids. And eventually, I just started being at the top of every lobby. But then I started playing melee, and when you run into people who are actually good at the game, it's kind of frustrating because you're used to beating everybody and everything forever. So it's like a double-edged sword because it's like you know that you're good at like video games and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's like, all right, what about when I actually run into people who are also really good at this shit? And then you have to push yourself even further. So that's the other thing is like, it also takes like so much time and dedication to really be in the game to have all this reaction time. Like I'm in pretty good shape right now, but like I should be playing a lot more than I do. I feel like I understand the game very well, but I should definitely be more disciplined.
yeah, definitely.
I know you're always asking to play. Sometimes I feel bad because it's just like I'm too high right now, bro. I'm not trying to give you shitty games.
Yeah, it's so hard to play anyone from the East Coast in the Midwest because they're all bitches about going back and stuff, and it's kind of lame because I don't really have that many people just like to practice with. Like, I don't know. I feel like the East Coast is kind of spoiled in terms of like their tournaments and like definitely because like where I live, so I live in Central California, which is like between NorCal and SoCal. The only tournaments that I can like really go to are like 2 hours away, which is like NorCal, like what's that, like only Waffles Hills.
So you don't have
like,
net play tournaments? I thought there were a whole thing for that.
Oh no, West Coast does, but like you know how West Coast doesn't have that many like people in comparison to East Coast, especially like players around their level too. Like there's definitely some like West Coast around my level, but there's not that many people in comparison to like East Coast and whatnot. Or at the very least, it's like East Coast is like more active and it's easier to like, get to like play with you because like with West Coast, like they're very cliquey. They always have their own like groups and shit, and yeah, to like get some secret and shit. Like East Coast, it's like a lot easier. You just get online, be good, and you get like pretty good like access.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Actually, that's I understand the quickie shit because that's how it used to be before net play. Now we have our own group and we're very open and shit like that. No, that's terrible. Yeah, no, I feel that. I figured California, everyone, you know, it's melee heaven over there, right? Everyone's really fucking good or some shit, right? That's the way it was for years. That's the way everyone talked about it.
Yeah, but now it's like kind of toxic. It's still a good region, but like SoCal's not playing by like a lot of toxic players, but like Curve for example.
Curve,
And
the
it's
Game and Watch player.
no, Curve, the Luigi player. Sorry.
Oh, how could toxic players ruin it the community? Can't you just focus on the game?
Well, okay. With SoCal, it's like they're very cliquey and they all just like play with each other. They don't play with like anyone else. You have to basically get to their like secret club or whatever. It's like, you know, I'm not from that region and I'm not like I kind of like have a hard time like socializing and just understanding every single like thing. So basically, like I don't know, I'm not really like I don't really jive with like some. I'm homies with like some of the SoCal people like and like fucking Noel, but like the other people like Curve, I like have like low-key hella people from because he always like talks hella shit to me and like tries to ice me out in brackets and shit. Like he's always like one of those like just toxic guys. Like he just like talks hella shit. It's just like kind of toxic and stuff. And
Do you
yeah,
ever
like,
tell him to shut the fuck up?
bro, I told him, like, shut the fuck up, I'll sock you in the face. Because he was talking shit to Traplower and trying to, like, ice him. I'm like, bro, you deserve to get punched in the fucking nose. That's all I said. And I was like, you're so toxic and all these other, like, things. And now, like, Soka hates me for, like, saying something that's, like, hella true. Because, like, if I just tell him, like, nicely, he's not gonna listen to me. Like, sometimes, like, because, like, where I live, like, people were, like, if you were to talk shit and say, like, whack shit, people would, like, just straight up fight you for it. That was kind of the culture.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I'm from the Bronx,
yeah, exactly.
so like you know what you're saying, kind of it pisses me off. I've run into a few people like that. It always pisses me off every time. I don't like people who taunt me either, but you know you gotta get over that, I guess. But still.
Dude, Smashers are hella smart. They don't even survive in a, like, stock, like, where I live, like, Turlock and stocks, like, they just get freaked off and shit. Smashers, they act like a bunch of babies, and they just, like, get away with it. Like, when I was at Genesis, I was hanging out with Nunn, because, like, I actually housed Nunn for my hotel room, and he was just, like, telling us how, like, Smashers were kind of, like, princesses and shit and whatnot, because, like, because we asked if he wanted to, like, sleep in bed or whatever, and he's like, nah, it's cool, dude, like, I'll sleep in bed. You know, Smashers are most, or, like, princesses or whatever, but I don't know, I can sleep in bed. And this guy's actually really chill. It makes sense, because, like, Nunn lives in Nicaragua, where I imagine that shit's, like, really fucking crazy. He was actually, like, a race car driver when he was, like, 17.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I actually stayed at a house with Nun one time, for a night. He was just drinking and smoking cigarettes, and he was beefing with Scar.
Well, like, for real? I thought it was just some, like, shitposting thing they did.
I don't know. He was just talking to the whole house about how Scar was whack. Scar wasn't even there.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, huh, I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know about this whole thing that's going on here.
Yeah.
I played him in friendlies. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I got the whole top player disinterested vibe thing. Which kind of annoyed me because it's like, bro, I'm like beating you in friendlies right now. Why are you like drinking your drink and acting disinterested? But
Yeah.
but honestly, that's the experience you'll probably get with a lot of top players. So like, I don't know. I don't blame him. I don't want to speak to his character or anything like that. But that's the way I honestly have run into most top players in the past too. One time, Hungrybox asked. I was playing with Cobalt on a setup, and he asked to use the setup, and he just played, so he could train for tournament, and he fucking. He gets on there with Crunch and he starts playing Ness.
Wait, what?
He said, yo, could I use this setup for tournament? And he kicks me and Cobalt off. This is like Pound 2015. And he starts playing Ness versus Crunch.
I think I remember this, actually. It was from somewhere that he did something like this, and that was, like, kind of, like... I don't know, Hungry Boggs seems like a pretty sussy person. He was nice to me one time where I congratulated him and he just said things, but I assume that he's, like, not the person to be around eventually.
Yeah, that shit was whack. I was just trying to get my Cobalt training in because, you know, I was traveling for a national in 2015. Net play wasn't the way it was at all. So it's like, you know, I need this top level Fox practice. I'm trying to be good, bro. And then like,
Yeah.
and then you kick me off the setup to play Ness. Like, oh, come on, bro. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, like, there was like an Omni video, like he's explaining why people hate HBox, and he just didn't even bother to like include the fact that like HBox is just like he kind of just treats people like shit, acts like an egotistical bastard. Like when he like lost to like Spartan or whatever in mod, he's like, I'm gonna retire from the game. Like this just isn't for me, bud. And acting like playing this whole victim complex shit, which like it's one
Yeah.
thing to be like, okay, I'm just not really into the game at the moment, but like just be like good shit to like log for Spartan for like grinding the game. It just goes to show that melee is just one fucking tough game.
Bro, you're supposed to take the L like a champ, dude. You're supposed to be like our game's champ, right? Like, what's your deal?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, where's your honor?
yeah, exactly.
Damn, I see why you play such a cool Sheik, bro. You're a self-aware gentleman.
Yeah. Well, my mentality with the game for a long time was that I wanted to become like #1, but I didn't want to make it like I want to be like fun to play with because like I don't want to do what people like being a hell of weird champ to me and making it like unenjoyable. Like I want to enjoy myself too. Like I love winning, but I don't want to like I want to actually like enjoy playing the game with people and like having people actually like me and like hanging out with them and shit and actually like having a good time because like sometimes like winning sometimes isn't always worth like everything and stuff because you sometimes kind of lose if you like sometimes winning like you play really camping and with you even win like you won the set but now everyone like hates your ads and that's like kind of like uncomfortable like with Ben versus Zombie like because like Ben replay games with the their connections are like laggy and stuff and like Ben won but now like everyone fucking hates Ben right now like Faust and Zombie and all those people like now it's just like I don't know, Chief, like, that probably wasn't even, like, worth going through the trouble. I get that, because, like, the pride and shit, it's, like, that was just, like, whatever, it's just how it is.
Yeah, I come close to doing that sometimes. I hate it when someone else pauses when I have the momentum and then claim lag.
Yeah.
I think, and then, one time I was playing this kid from fucking Jersey. I forget his name. Wally. His name was Wally. He's pretty known, actually. But basically, I'm in like game 3 of a set or some shit, game 2, one of these games, and I'm up like 2 whole stocks, and then he pauses, and then he's like talking about the lag or whatever, and it's like, bro, I don't feel any of this lag, and then he just restarts the game, like and just keeps playing it, and it's like, oh my god, and then I lose, and I'm so pissed about it. He does make the comeback. Which I guess you could say is my fault, but it's like, bro, like I got totally iced out. I had like a universe's worth of momentum kicking your ass here, and you just fucking pause it, like, bro. So I was pretty pissed.
Yeah.
I wanted to redo it, but I just didn't.
Bro, one time I beat Westballs and he just told me how the set was laggy and that I didn't win legitimately because it was laggy and whatnot, even though his internet is like notoriously bad and tried to like take away the entire fucking victory from me, which was pretty fucking lame. I never had anyone tell me to like replay my set though or a game just because of lag. Usually people just bitch about like the lag and that's it. They don't do anything about it. Yeah. Definitely players just being kind of prissy in the go ways. It's just getting like lame.
Yeah, it's the weak sheltered smashers, bro.
Yeah.
Shit's whack.
Yeah. But on the flip side to that, that's probably what's gonna make me become like actually really good because I'm not falling into this like piss balls that most players kind of fall into. Because like I think I know it's like why most sheep like there's only a handful of like really good sheep players just because like smashers the moment they get like this adversity they just like I'd rather just do like the easier thing, which is just like either switching the Fox or just not really making it afterwards. Like it's like they're like, oh shit, Fox and Puff and all these characters are hella hard and shit, and it's just like, they kind of just don't even try to like counteract and try to do anything about it. They just like be like, whatever, bro. Like that's what maybe stop like Club as much anymore. I used to be a huge Bluff fan, but then after his mentality shit and just him like the whole Fortnite Fred thing was like I took it personally because he disrespected Brandon.
The whole what?
The Fortnite Fred shit, the whole Smurfing that one like that play tournament with like all the Fortnite people.
Oh.
Yeah, and like I know Brandon's cool with it. I'm still not cool with it only because he like disrespected Brandon and basically treated his tournament like they were fucking nothing. And like I know Brandon personally because he used to actually live in my region, and him and I are like good homies. So like
I was kind of pissed like they just like treated him like shit like that. But also like just Blunt like being like giving up on Sheik and kind of just like not fucking like putting the discipline. So
Yeah, he's not really pushing the game at all.
Yeah.
He honestly has looked lazy for a few years now.
Yeah.
Which is upsetting because I was a big fan of his Sheik, but honestly, I don't even think his Sheik is like at the top level anymore.
Yeah.
Which is pretty upsetting because it's like, dude, like, come on, bro. Like, I saw him like do this set versus Cobalt where he was playing a couple other characters and he finally goes Sheik on Battlefield and he just gets fucking destroyed. And it's like,
yeah.
It's like, fuck, bro.
Yeah, like his tech chasing's like it's just like trash now, like it's how it's 2015, and like his overall his game plan, it just seems like he doesn't really have anything like good to the table. It just seems like he's kind of doing the same kind of shit.
Yeah, and his combos aren't really that sharp, like you said.
Yeah, and like I just realized this, like you know how he switched to Samus to Sheik in 2015, like well, this was like a problem that's been happening for like years. That Samus is like probably the same situation. He just like gives up on the character because he didn't like put in super duper effort to get like even better for more matchups. I should just like went to Sheik and whatnot, and now it's like you know, just using the same fucking bow as he was.
Yeah, everyone listens to the tier list and the Johns and shit like that. So they all have like an excuse to make as soon as they start losing consistently. It's like nobody has the strength to keep going forward.
Yeah. And if they don't, they just have a huge ego and refuse to like kind of change themselves. Like Axe, like fucking Axe. You know, this whole wholesome guy literally acts fucking weird champ towards Spark and like trap words here. Like with Spark, he just like deliberately goes out of his way to let people know how lame Spark is. Like he once did like a stream where he just like lists all the cool Sheiks and Spark wasn't even one of them. And he intentionally like did that just to like piss off Spark and basically like let everyone know how lame and awful Spark is, just so like he can like harass him just because he started getting destroyed by like Zayd and not adapting to Zayd's like stop. Because like Zayd, unlike most Sheik, he's very patient and very like defensive. Like he basically kind of just plays like Sheik at like her most like deadly low key in the end. Because I heard like playing really defensive and one of the ways Zayd plays is like really hard to deal with. And it's just like it just wears you out fast. Like he definitely pushes these heroes in terms of your.
I would like to play Spark. You should tell him to play me.
I don't know. He's been lazy lately too. He just plays Fox and fucking Ice Climber or some stupid stuff. Like he hasn't really been super active in tournaments. He used to be earlier this year, but he's just like, well, at least these last 4 months, he kind of just like dips. You can just hit him on Facebook, I guess, but I don't know. I'm fearing he's gonna eventually suffer that fate, but we'll see. I think if one person's gonna like redeem the Sheik fucking stuff, it'll probably be him.
Yeah, I don't really trust most top players. Hell, I barely trust myself. I know I gotta play a lot more myself if I want to push anything.
I'm
Yeah.
confident in my growth and even achieving it. I don't think I'm gonna pull this ups because like I would have a long time ago, but I haven't. Like I had this set versus this Puff at this tournament like last week or whatever. I think it was Panko or whatever. And like I was like in loser side, and like I was going to like come back and like win it and whatnot. I know that sounds like bragging, but then I realized it's like most Sheik players would kind of just give up at like grand finals or whatever, and not try to go out of their way to like try to win 2 sets in a row versus Puff and like and stuff. Like I feel like it's like a sign that like there's a lot to be had with the character that I'm playing, because that just means that I'm not fazed by this matchup. I'm going to like distance, which is walking straight with a lot.
Yeah, I think if you keep pushing yourself and thinking and putting in the effort, and especially if you're already like at a certain level, you could do what most people can't just because you're willing to.
Yeah.
David Goggins.
Yeah. You already know this because you see me all the time together online, so.
Yeah, you're really active. Were you not on the Faster Melee Discord before?
No, I didn't really use it. I didn't even realize I was really active. I just relied on Andrew's ladder for a long time.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And I assume you play pretty good people over in Cali?
Yeah.
Yeah, who do you play over there? How did you get so good without me knowing of your existence? Because I don't think anyone knows who you are.
Okay. Let me think. Okay, so so my region, I have Spark, Hazel, Traplord, and myself, and a few other good players. I just played a lot of melee with like Traplord and like some of my other people in the region, like Xander, TBD. They kind of just pushed me to get better because we're all like roughly in the same skill level, so we all pushed each other pretty hard. And then I just grinded a lot of Andrew's ladder and just went through the typical Andrew ladder shit of like playing through all ranked friendlies with like a lot of players. And then eventually started traveling to NorCal, got pretty good, and then eventually just started hitting up like NorCal players because we have like a NorCal Facebook group. So I just basically just grinded a lot. Just the thing is that like I don't really travel much because it's really expensive for me to just like travel always through the tournaments because 2-hour drives and then going to majors is like fucking hard as hell because it's really costly. And I'm also working a lot too, so it's kind of difficult for me to just like travel and get my name like out there. The only reason why I can have my name out there is just by grinding like crazy, and eventually people just like randomly discover me just because I just grind. That's what like a lot of people know me for, is the grinder. Like
Wow, it's actually pretty similar to my story.
yeah, like TPU Genesis was like, yo, CrossFitJesus, yo, you grind fucking Andrew's ladder all the time, bro. Like, what's up? People like know me for that, like so.
Yeah, they also will give you games because they respect the fact that you're grinding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I pretty much did the same thing. I started off on the original net play back in like 2015. I got pretty alright to the point where I could make it out of pools at my local. Nebs had pools at the time. And, but I was still getting trashed. Then I got better and better. I got alright. I was keeping up with all the mid-levels, low to mid-levels in New York City, which was a lot lower quality at the time. And then basically I met up with the beer man, or lamb chops, and he basically he was kicking ass at the time. I didn't know that he was like a retired person, but I just remember him just fucking people up in tournament. Like he won one of these tournaments. I was at like one of these really big tournaments. I feel like he won. I feel like I can't think of any of them, but I just know he was like beating players like the moon at the time, but he was like totally out of the game. So like people knew who he was from back then, but he wasn't like a famous player at the time. And this is like 2014, so the scene was a bit smaller. So he picked me up to train me really out of the blue, just because of how much work I'd been putting in and traveling to all these events and consistently playing the game. And I got really good from playing him because he's just like a genius of the game, mentality and otherwise. And then I started kicking everyone's ass, especially the Falco players. And I had a reputation for money matching everyone, grinding, and then I quit because I don't know. When you're leaving high school, you think you're supposed to quit and start playing video games, shit like that. Then I came back and I started training with him again, and I got really fucking good on my own time. This is like before netplay really blew up, and I started going to Hack's nightclub. And even with only training with Beerman in the basement, I began taking down ranked players like Rishi and Slox like a year ago at Hack's nightclub, and that's what really got my name out there because Hack's nightclub had so much viewership, and that was just the beginning. My neutral game took me that far. I didn't even have matchup experience. Then I got net play and I started getting more results, which is pretty exciting. And now I'm just lazy as fuck. So I gotta get back into it.
I mean, I don't know. Melee is hard to like put so much time and effort to it like over one period of time. Like for me, it's kind of hard for me just to like get up and just like grind hell hours a day like all the time because sometimes you just want to like sit back and just do nothing. But obviously, you want to like beat the fucking zombies, the trap lords and shit. You as well, and like Ben's and whatnot. Like I think about Ben a lot, that Sheik player, because he gets such good results. I'm like, damn, like this guy's.
Bro, that guy's the ugliest Sheik in the world.
I know okay. I don't mind his style. I think it's. I actually kind of think some of his shit's really good, so I try to incorporate a lot of his ideas. But that guy, he gets crazy results, so I'm like, man, I want to get those results too, because it looks kind of fancy. So I just like train my ass off to like get that. Although lately I've been realizing like that's just kind of toxic, because like at the end of the day, it's like you're just doing it just to like prove to you that you're this like level. Or
I have a pretty extremely arrogant mindset, and I don't copy anybody besides, like, I do, don't get me wrong, but, like, if they're not, like, I basically look towards myself because I feel like I understand the mechanics of the game, whether it's someone falling on the floor and ticking or, like, you know, them moving around. Like, I feel like there's nothing that anyone else could really show me. Like, I'll take inspiration from you if you do something cool. I'll be like, alright, that was cool. Like, something I think Face Roll and Spark started doing a couple years ago. They started up being to cover the ledge sometimes. Like, they, like, in, like a combo situation. I thought that was kind of cool, so I started doing that. But, like, for the most part, it's like, I don't care if he's beating somebody else. I gotta figure out how to do it in my own way. Don't get me wrong, like, it sounds like I don't take any advice, but I do, but I'm also really stubborn about it. I don't take advice, but I do study people, but I'm also really stubborn about it. So it's like, for instance, like, I think Ben has the most, you know, one day someone's gonna tell him I said this and it's gonna be hilarious, but I think he has the most basic, ugly fucking Sheik I've ever seen in my life. You know what? I too look at the brackets and I wonder, how does he beat these people? How does he do it?
Yeah, he always beats such good players, like every bracket, and it fucking blows my mind. Like, holy shit, like, where's this guy, like, doing all of this? And it's like, I play him, and I actually, like, beat him, too, and then, like, usually when I play, I, like, beat his ass, so I'm like, how's this guy, like, he's beating all these players, but I'm not beating these players. Like, it always perplexes me, but apparently it's just, like, his internet's really trash, so it's, like, fairly easy for him. Apparently...
Dude, bro, that's yo, you gotta get trash enough internet to get good rankings, so then you can get better practice, so you can get better at the game. Bro, it all makes sense. Dude, this guy's got it figured out from a lower level player's perspective. Whew! This guy's a champ.
Yeah, this guy definitely, he does it. He definitely fucking does it. But it's funny, he's hella good too, but like, yeah, that actually kind of puts it in perspective, because like, yeah, that probably makes it so much easier for him to like do shit, just because slashers get so fucking tilted easily. So like, it's just like not a matter if he like wins it, but like kind of win and whatnot. Like, it's not hard to be SJ if he's being like a.
I lose to him personally because I've always considered myself pretty poor at the Ditto, and he just runs around the platforms, and then I get so pissed off. He gets a fucking grab, and he chain grabs me, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, oh dude, there's man. And then in my head, I'm like, dude, this guy Sheik is so ugly, and I'm still losing. Fuck! Oh man.
That's funny because he hates the Ditto too, and he feels the same way when he plays against me. Like, I don't know. I always beat his ass just because like I feel like with the matchup, it's pretty easy just to like play like how a Toxic Fox would play against a Sheik, where you just don't really approach per se. You kind of just have them come into you, and then you eventually start approaching when they started playing like more scared and whatnot. And you kind of just play that game plan, and it like works against literally 99.9% of Sheiks like overall, except for like Spark. Everyone else like just gets bodied by that like idea and whatnot.
Yeah, we're gonna push that further, so we don't get fucking cheese grabbed all the time and platform cheese. At least to a degree, because I think a lot of the hits that like people get in the Ditto are like fake hits, like because like I don't know, it just doesn't look like everyone is getting authentic hits.
Yeah, that's why I hate the chain grab, because it's more about getting those fake hits much more so than anything. It's not about outplaying the other player. It's just like getting the situation where they don't have the reaction for it and just exploit that. When I played against you, that happened a lot, where you didn't react to my movements and then I just got a free grab off of it. And that's basically what it is. Like, it's not even like, I mean, it's still somewhat honest, but it's like you're just like banking on the player, like just being inept in that situation. I just think it's kind of like dumb, because, you know, it's just like...
Because you gotta like take what you can get, but at the same time, you even when I get some of these hits in the Ditto, I'm like, bro, like that didn't really feel like, and since everyone's chain grabbing, there's less time to explore the neutral, so there's less time to. It's harder to get better at the matchup. We have time to now at least, so that's like one of the good things. But like generally, like when you run into one in a tournament, let's say it's not your most practiced matchup. Like, there's no time to be like, all right, like, you know, I'm gonna let myself get hit to get this data or anything like that. If I get hit, like, I'm killed. Like, I gotta play with knowledge that I don't have already.
Yeah, that's why I came up to an extent with versus like low tiers and Sheik. It's like if I just do chain grabbing, then I'm just like deprive myself of like a lot of neutral interactions. I could get so much better at that. I can like carry on with other characters and ultimately like be able to do best in the matchup in the long run because I actually know all the like tools and nuances and like the matchup and stuff. Because it's not about like learning neutral, it's just about knowing setups and then just so it's like ICs and Sheik where it's like you're not really playing neutral versus ICs, you're just like quintessentially playing like these set of like rules and you just follow them and never break them and you're basically kind of good. So it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah. Honestly, I was playing against an Ices for a few hours last night, and then I was playing you today, and I realized I'm still following these rules, but like now I'm like not playing half the game because of it.
Yeah.
Like I started off just trying to like space F tilt versus you very slowly.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I gotta take my cat to the garage because he's bothering me.
Alright. I gotta use the bathroom and stuff like that.